Yeah, so the session is now being recorded. You'll have the recording once the class is done. Okay, let me get some I'll use some open source code from here to fasten our EDA process. Yeah, so just stealing some ideas from these guys here. So I guess we'll use this analysis that is here to come up with the visualizations for our app. Then on the ML part, we will have to work on our own model. Or you know what, I'll do the analysis all on my own. We don't have to copy what someone else has done. Okay, so I believe you have the data set now. So what I'll do is I'll hop here into here and I'll open my ST folder. So I'll click on these three buttons here, file, then open folder, then I'll open my ST folder here. Yep, so I'll close the app.py file. Then what I'll do is I'll create the avocado.py file. So this will be our new Streamlit file. Then yeah, so that's the new Streamlit file. Then the next thing you need to do, remember, is open your Anaconda prompt. After opening your Anaconda prompt, you need to head over to your folder. So I am in my ST folder. So for me was CD downloads, then CD ST. So that's after I moved the files. So I'll give you 2 minutes to work on that. So at 9:15, 9:16, we will proceed. Yes, hello.
I'm trying to get my file.
Yeah. So the downloaded CSV file, or Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. So my question was,
Yeah.
must we upload the file, and we can actually only use the command and point to the directory? We just created the file name, and then whichever name we want.
Yeah. So I think you okay. So what I'm saying is you have to work with your own directories. So the file name can be any name you want, and also the directory names can be any names you want. So as long as you are able to access those directories here in your command line. So that's the only thing you need to know. But what you need to know again is the CSV file that we are working with and the .py file that we are working with again should be in the same path. Yeah. Hope that's clear. Okay, a minute, I try check my connection again because I see it's still poor. Okay, so I say we back to normal. So if I start lagging, someone can send a text message in the chat and I can check my connection. So let's begin. So here in the avocado.py file, so we will start with the basic stuff. And the first thing we always do is we import Streamlit as st. That's the first thing we usually do. So here I'll import libraries. So we've imported Streamlit, then I'll import pandas. So pandas is the library for importing the data. So I'll import pandas as pd. Then next I'll import seaborn as sns. Then I'll import matplotlib pyplot as plt. So those are the 4 libraries we will use here.
Hi,
So
Moses.
hi. Yes.
Sorry, the screen has frozen. It's fine now.
Okay. Yeah, so as I had said, my connection is quite poor today, but I think we can survive. Yeah, so I'll save that. Then so I've imported these 4 libraries. So the next thing I'll do is I'll add my app title. So my title will be st.title. Then I'll have the avocado analytics. Then I can say web app. Yeah, so we can have that. Then here in my command prompt I'll run python. So remember, you run Streamlit, run app.py. So here you will run python -m Streamlit run avocado.py. So that's the code you will run. Yeah, so go ahead and import these libraries, create your app title, then launch your Streamlit app using the command prompt. Okay, so 4 minutes you do that, then we can proceed. So I'll stick on to this page, and I'll also have my command prompt here for you to see what I've run.
Joseph,
Yes.
good evening. I wanted
Good
to
evening.
ask, yeah?
Yeah.
So, like the previous classes we had, the apps we were creating, for example,
Yeah.
are they saved somewhere? Like, how do you access them?
So if you have like, so this was my first initial app, so we have
Yeah.
the app.py file. So this was my first app, so it's still saved. So I'm creating my second app, and that's the avocado.py. So this will be my second app. So if I want to run my second app, I'll run python -m streamlit run avocado.py. If I want to run the first app, I'll run python -m streamlit run app.py. So that's how the
Oh,
file,
so you'd have to run
the specific
app
file. Yeah.
all the time. Because I thought I initially thought like the Streamlit app is saved somewhere, so you can just access it. Okay.
No, you have to run it somewhere else. Yeah, so I think we can continue. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to add the data description. So here we are going to have our st.header, and I'm going to add the data description. Then we are going to have st.write, or let's use st.markdown. Then copy some things here. So if we go to the data card, we can copy the context part. So here I can copy that first line, paste it here, copy the second line, paste it here, copy the third line, and then paste it there. Okay, but I think let me see, is this code same? Yeah, should be same. Yeah, So that's what I've added. So I've added st.markdown, added the 3 quotation marks, then here added some bullet points. So that's the use of markdown. Then I can save, then click on always rerun, and then I can see my data description. So that's the first part of our web app. So let me go back to the code part, then you can copy it. So what you can do is, as you are seeing, so I won't include the CMD part because already you guys know what is to be done here. So I'll just leave the code part. So I'll give you like 3 minutes to replicate what we have here for the data description, then we can proceed on to the next part.
Just a sorry, as you are doing that,
Yeah.
is there a way you can do like a whole paragraph instead of each point form?
Yeah, you can do a whole paragraph. So maybe let me try that. So you can type in st.markdown, then include the 3 quotation marks, then in between here paste your whole paragraph in there. So let me get a paragraph from here. So for example, this paragraph that we have here, so maybe I can copy it and then paste it into my code. So it's quite long, but yeah, we can work with that. Yeah, so here you can see the paragraph. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that so you can see what we are working with. So at 9:30 we will check the next thing. So I'm giving you time to add your data description. Okay, so I think we can proceed on to the next thing, and the next thing is loading data. So we are going to load the avocado.csv data, and what we are going to do is we are going to compare, should we display this data as a data frame on our website, or should we display it as a table? So let's do it. So we are going to have our data being equal to bd.read_csv. Then we are going to have avocado.csv. Then here we are going to create like something that will allow the user to like choose how many rows they want to display. So here we are going to get user input on how many rows to display. So we are going to have rows being equal to st.slider. So this should be in your notes on how you create sliders. Then here we are going to have a range of either 1 to 100, or let's say 1 to 20 rows. So we don't have to complicate this. So the user can display a minimum of 0 rows and a maximum of 20 rows, and the steps will be 5. So you can start by seeing the first 5 rows, the next 10 rows, the next 15 rows, and the next 20 rows. So that's how the slider works. Okay, then here we are going to display the data. Then we are going to have st.dataframe, then data.head, then the rows that the user has specified. Yeah, so let me go back to the code part, and yeah, that's what we have. So I'll compare the table and the data frame part and see which one is best for us.
Sorry, that's it.
Yes.
Sorry to take back. Just explain again the 0, 20, and 5.
Okay, so let me open the notes, then I can explain that to you better so that you can understand it. This is the Streamlit notes. Hope my connection is still okay. Yeah, so if we go to Streamlit, we have the interactive widgets part. So for the interactive widgets part, we have these things that we can, these functionalities that we can add to our web app. So we have buttons, we have toggles, we have selection, this checkbox, we have sliders. So this is a slider. So from the slider, we have this code that we have over here. So if you type in st.slider, so the first thing you usually type is the label of your slider. Then after typing in the label of your slider, you type in the range. So these two values specify the range. So what should be the minimum value here? So the minimum value is at 0 for our range. What should be the maximum value? So the maximum value is at 20. And what should be the initial value? So the initial value should be 5. So that's what we have over here. And if we open our website and reload it, you can see once we reload the website, the initial value is 5. Okay, so that's what we have. Hope that explains everything. Okay, sorry, you might have lost me for a minute there. I had a call, but we can proceed.
Sorry, Joseph.
Yeah.
How did you load the CSV file?
Okay. So yeah, first, if you check the files part, is the avocado.csv file in the same directory as the avocado.py file?
Yes.
Okay, so check your pd.read csv file. So check and confirm the naming is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
They said me no columns to pass from file.
So you are getting an error on your side. Can you try change the name here and rerun the file and see if you are going to get something? What is the error saying?
No columns to pass from file.
Okay.
Is it possible that
Maybe
the file is in zip format? Because mine was in zip format. I had to unzip it.
It's not from zip.
maybe you can share your. Are you in a position to share your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can share your screen, then I can guide you from there.
Can you see?
Yeah, I can see it. Okay. No columns to pass from file. Can you go to your code part? Yeah. Change the avocado from capital A to small a. Yeah.
Does that really matter though?
Yeah, that really matters. So when importing the data, still an error. Okay, I'm trying to see what might be causing the error. Can you reshare your screen and share the code part?
Okay.
Okay. I'm checking your code to see if we have any possible issues. But I can't. I can't not. Can you scroll up? Yeah, still no issues from the app side. Scroll down. Can you move your code to the left on the st.slider part so that I can see what you have there? move it again so that I can see
Those were my extra notes. Or does that affect?
No, that does not affect. That does not affect. I'm just trying to check how the numbers are shown. So in your code, can you remove the rows part in the data.head part, then save and see if your code will, if there will be something displayed in the website. Re-add the other bracket here, then save.
Still 11.
Oh, might be the CSV file you are working with. Can you copy this code in the chat and see, change it with what you have there and see if the code will run.
Okay. Still refusing.
Still refusing.
I don't know. Do you think, because I've done the avocado project
Yeah.
before, maybe it's the CSV I had downloaded before,
Yeah.
the file?
Yeah, maybe it's the CSV that you had downloaded before. Can you try
Initially.
re-download the file and replace it with what you have there? So that might be the issue. So maybe the format is not what we're working with at the moment.
Because whatever you downloaded is what I had.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, shouldn't it be the same?
So you've downloaded this avocado.csv file today.
No, before.
Can you open the other tab there which shows the avocado.csv?
This one.
Yeah, it's empty, that's why. So you have to re-download the file again.
Okay. So then do I download what I had before?
Yeah, you can open the cargo link. So let me share the link on chat. So download that file, it's 1.9 MB, and extract the CSV file and replace it with what you have. Okay, so as you are doing that, I'm going to do some tests here with those who are around. So I'm trying to compare in between using a data frame. So this is the data frame, and using a table. So which one looks best? So st.table. Let me see which one is better. So this is the table, and this is the data frame. So I think I'll stick to the data frame, so the data frame looks a little bit neat. Yeah, so that's more better. Okay, so once you've replaced the data, you can inform us so that we can proceed and you can follow up also.
So I've downloaded it. So
Yeah.
how now do I've even deleted that file on VS Code. So then how do I now download it to VS Code?
So do this. Go to your file manager. This is your file manager, right? In the downloads folder, you have the avocado.csv.zip, right? Right click on extract if you have WinRAR, or click on extract all. So a new folder should be created named avocado.csv. Have you seen it?
Yeah, but I moved mine from downloads to the school folder.
Okay,
I
so
hope that's fine.
that's fine. So open the avocado.csv folder, then copy the avocado.csv file and paste it in the Streamlit folder that we are working with. Okay.
Just go back again.
So here we have the avocado.csv file, .csv folder, right? Inside it we have the avocado.csv file, right?
Yes.
So right click your mouse, then click on copy. Go back to your which folder are you working with? So for me, I'm working with the ST folder. So go back to your ST folder where you have the avocado.py file. Then paste the file in there. Then you can go back to your VS Code. Click Ctrl S, then open your website and see if you still have an error.
Still an error.
I think we can continue. Then maybe with Sandra we can time and then we do this thing and page.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it's just following up all these pieces. You'll be able to.
Okay,
So let's think the
Yeah, it's fine.
So maybe Sandra, what you can do is you can copy the codes that we are adding, then later on we'll try sort out the issue.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay, so the next thing we do is here you can see in the data we have the unnamed column. So I want us to drop these unnamed column that we have over here. So it's called unnamed column 0. So let me see if I can get the name here. So what I'll do is, before I display the data, after importing the data, so I'll drop I think it should be the first column. So it should be data.drop, then I dropped the unnamed column 0, axis should be equal to 1. So you can copy that.
It's fine now. It's fine.
Okay.
It's accepted. Yeah.
That's great. So we've dropped the unnamed column 0. So then the next thing we need to do is we can add maybe our first visualization. Okay, so the first visualization we will add here, and maybe we can have the first visualization from being the region part. So which are the top regions that we have in this data set? So what I'll do is I'll add, so top regions visualization. So I'll add st.header, then I'll type in top 5 regions, for example. Then what we are going to do is we are going to type in code to get the top 5 regions. So top regions should be equal to data dot group by. So I don't know how we usually do this. Yeah, but I can remove this part here in the end, so let me figure out a way of removing that part. Okay, but what you can do is copy this first part, then let me, from the sort by, let me add it down here, then you can continue the sort by part there. Then after you're done copying that, I'll delete it. So this is the wrong part, so I can comment it out. Then what we can do is we can add the plot for that. So a bar plot will do. So we can have st.bar chart, then we can print out the top regions by average price, so the average price of avocados. Then we can have st.caption, and then here we can have average price by region, then here we can have the top 5, so something like that. So let me save and confirm everything is working before we can proceed. So type error could not convert. Yeah, so let me fix that error, then we can check. Or let me do a simple thing here. So we are going to have data dot value counts, then region we get top 5, then we are going to plot the top 5. So that will be a simpler version of it. Yeah, so that's it. Let me see the errors I'm getting here before we can proceed. Okay, so I'll have, this is just a warning, so saying that we should use this format instead of the format that I've used it, but you can use my format for now, then in the next session we will upgrade it to use the format that is being suggested by Streamlit later on. Yeah, so copy this and then we can discuss what we've done for today and maybe have a small recap of what we've done for today. Then tomorrow we will proceed and complete our web application. So maybe 6 minutes you copy this code, then we can do a recap of what we've done for today. Okay, so I guess you should be done for now, and maybe you should be having a visualization here. So this visualization with the top 5 regions. Okay, so let me quickly change this part here. And I'll share that code in the chat section. Yeah, so that should be better. Let me share in the chat so that you can quickly copy what I've done. Then at exactly 10 p.m. we will do a recap of what we've done today. This should be the updated code. It's in the chat. Okay. Okay, so you should be done and you should have something looking like this. So let's start with the app itself. So here we have our app with a title, so Avocado Analytics web app, and here we have our data description. So here someone can read and understand what kind of data they are working with. So what we should have added here is a title or maybe a subheader, and here I will say st.subheader and say sample data, so something like that. So maybe you'll add that later on when you're doing your work. And if we save this, it should reflect in our app. Yeah, so here we have the sample data. So the sample data should come before the slider, so let me change that. Yeah, so here we have the subheader for sample data, and here we have the part for choosing how many rows of data we want to display. And you can see here we can interact with our web app. So basically that's the advantage of using Streamlit instead of using the Jupyter notebooks themselves. Then the next thing we have here is our visualization. So this is a visualization showing the top 5 regions with their count. So we can see that each and every region here has an equal count. So we haven't dived deeper into EDA, and this is the first plot that we've created. So this is basically our web app. So you can see it's structured in a way which we can, maybe for example, so if we were to print out the top 5 region, so we can create a visualization that shows the top 5 regions here, and then again go down here and explain what we are seeing here using something like this. So if someone was to open our web app, then he would be able to like understand what we are doing here. So let me add something else here. Yeah, so not really what I wanted, but yeah, it shows changes a few things. So what you can do is you can go through these notes and try and understand each and every element that you can display in your web app, but we will complete this web app slowly. So I think tomorrow we will continue adding some few functionalities to this web app. So let's go to the code part. So from the code, the first thing we did was we imported libraries, then we created our app title, and then we added the data description. So how we arrange this code matters. So the arrangement of the code will determine the arrangement of your web app. So your data description, if your data description is up here, then also in your code the data description should be up on the code part. So we imported our libraries, created our app title, created the data description, we loaded the data, did some pre-processing in here. So these are some of the things that a user won't see. So for example, dropping this column, if we go to our web app, so if you share this with someone, so they won't notice that in the backend we dropped some columns. So all they'll see is this neat data that is over here. So any pre-processing that you are doing in the backend, a front-end user won't see. So we dropped some column, created a slider, then displayed the rows that a user wants to see. Then we went ahead and created our header for the top 5 regions. Then here we've created the code for doing the plot itself. So this takes you back to the basics of matplotlib and Seaborn. So you can create the plot yourself, but you have to use the object-oriented plotting when working with Streamlit, because that's what they recommend. Okay, so any questions on what we've covered today before we end the session there? So questions on Streamlit, questions on what we've done. Okay, so if you have no questions, I think we'll end the class there for today. So we will proceed on from there tomorrow. Yeah, so yeah, if you have any issues, you can reach out to me directly, and if I'm available and I have time, I'll do my best to assist.